Well, thank you everyone for being here. We are a team from Lodestar Finance. We're a money market on Arbitrum that's going to be released pretty soon on mainnet. And yeah, so this is our first AMA. It's here to explain our vision of the protocol, but also at the end of our presentation, it will be an open mic. So feel free to ask, to speak up. Also on Discord, we have a meeting chat, so feel free to join and ask your questions over there if you want to type them, or you can also comment them under the tweet of the Twitter space, and we will make sure to answer them. So for a start, let's start with the introduction of the team members. Quanta, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yep. So I'm Quanta. I'm one of the founding members of the team. Been in the crypto space since a little bit before the COVID craze. Um, just for the most part, I've been an investor in various crypto projects. I got turned on to the Arbitrum space um, probably around January of this year. I got really into the treasure ecosystem, and once I was on Arbitrum, I found all of the crazy opportunities here, and we really felt like Arbitrum was missing a protocol like Lodestar, and that's sort of where we got the idea. It was a missing piece to the puzzle in an otherwise very great ecosystem. Aside from my crypto background, in real life, I am an engineer. I work in the photonics space. Um, been doing that for a few years now, and I'm ready to kind of turn a page and start something new here with the Lodestar team.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Coops, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining. I am a software engineer by day. I work in the fintech industry. Been doing that for about 5 years now. I work a lot with payments and processing, credit cards, loans, things like that. So I have a lot of experience around that and security and things like that. Been involved in crypto. I was mining Ethereum and back when it was like 10, $11. So I've been involved for a while now, and I've seen a lot of ups and downs, but never worked on my own protocol. And as Quanta said, super excited to dive into the space head first with Lodestar here, and very excited that you all are joining us here, and excited to deliver some value to you guys.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. If I may introduce myself too, so I am Waffle. I'll be your host today. I joined the Lodestar team a few weeks ago, and I'll be in charge of marketing and growth. So my background in real life, I used to work in the commodity inspection industry. I was based in Africa and in Asia, and I was doing inspection of the quality of commodities when traders buy and sell. So that's my IRL job. I've been in the crypto space since 2016, and yeah, I arrived with the bull run of Ethereum. Stayed involved, and then of course got very active again in crypto in 2020 during the DeFi summer. I got involved also during the Olympus fork era. I was working with a few projects, and then a year and a half ago, I joined the lead team of an L1 called Secret Network. I was helping them with support with the users, also with marketing, and I've been on Arbitrum since 6 months now, and yeah, it's an ecosystem full of opportunities with a lot of applications that have pretty innovative mechanisms. This is why I stayed, and yeah, pretty glad being part of the Lost Star team. So thank you all for being here, and we'll start with what is Lodestar Finance and what's a money market. So, guys, would you like to introduce the mechanism of this protocol?
Actually, Waffle, before we hop into that, Apo just hopped in. If you could invite him up to co-host, and maybe we can introduce him real quick too, and then we can get into that question.
For sure.
So you should see like a little pop-up. There we go. Got it. So hit like the accept button and you'll be able to come up to the stage, Apo.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name's Apo, and also on the team here at Lodestar Finance. My story's pretty similar to Quana's. Got into crypto pretty much the same time as he did. We've always been interested in similar stuff, different ecosystems, and Arbitrum really, the beginning was treasure, and just sort of branched out from there into some of the interesting DeFi opportunities that the chain had to offer. I'm also an engineer by trade. My day job is doing mechanical engineering work in the infrastructure industry. So this will also be my first foray into building a crypto project. But it's been a few months now, and we've learned a lot, and we're just excited to build what we're building and deliver it to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Nepo. So the full team is here. What is Lodestar Finance? What's a money market? Conta, would you like to introduce us to the protocol?
Yep. So Lodestar Finance at its core is a compound fork. So we are a decentralized money market first, where you can borrow and lend your cryptocurrencies. We are sort of adding on our own twist to the compound model. We're specifically targeting within Lodestar the liquid staking assets that are very prevalent on the Arbitrum chain. So the type of stuff we're looking at there is like the PLV GLP asset, the PLS DPX asset, and then for some of our friends in the Treasureverse, we're also in contact with the Magic Dragon DAO team when the DR Magic token goes live. That's another one that we're targeting. There's a lot of opportunity, I think, specifically with these liquid staking assets as it relates to being collateral on a money market. A lot of these things offer very high APRs. PLV, GLP, just as an example, it's regularly paying out 25 to 30% APR denominated in GLP, which is mostly stable coins and blue chips, as you guys know. So, if you're using PLV, GLP as collateral, in most cases, your cost to borrow, your net cost to borrow is, going to be like negative, right? It'll be free. To a certain extent, obviously, there's different market states that can occur, but one of the big value props is that over the long term, your collateral should grow at a faster rate than what you are borrowing. This also introduces some really cool strategies that don't exist right now. We released that article talking about utilizing PLV GLP inside the Lodestar app. I would encourage everybody to go and read that. One of the things it discusses is a couple strategies like leveraging into PLV GLP, where you would use PLV GLP as collateral, borrow stable coins, buy more, and then continue to loop. You can achieve APRs of over 100% in GLP doing that. You can also do different types of hedging strategies where rather than borrowing stable coins, you can borrow assets like Ethereum or Bitcoin and do the same thing. But at its core, we are a money market, but we're going to add on all these extra features. And there's a lot of value to be had, specifically in Arbitrum with these liquid staking assets.
Sounds amazing. So on the basis, it's a compound fork, but we've been adding yield-bearing collaterals, so they can like self auto reimburse the lendings, right? My question would be how is it going to be released? I know there is a V0 and there's going to be a V1. What assets could we expect on the V0? And then how are we going to implement more assets as the Arbitrum ecosystem grows and while we grow partnerships with other protocols?
Okay, so for V0, it's going to be basically exactly what we have on the testnet right now. So everybody who's had a chance to play with our testnet, you've already played with the app as it will exist on mainnet. when we do launch. So V0 is relatively simple. It's really just a compound fork with some different assets, as well as some customized market parameters, specifically around like PLV, GLP, and DOPEX Magic, the tokens that are not currently being offered in other places. So there will be no liquid staking with V0. The idea here is that so far the project has been totally bootstrapped. Every expense that we've incurred has come out of the team's pockets. And an audit of the compound code base is roughly $100,000 as far as our research indicates. So we don't want to make any modifications to that for V0. We want to rely on all of the auditing that's already been done on that code base. And as we get closer to our V1 launch, which is where we will introduce the liquid staking assets, we will then perform an audit at that time to make sure that everything that we are adding is integrating properly into Compound. So that is probably the biggest expense we have earmarked for the public raise. As far as the architecture for how we are going to implement the liquid staking assets, we're still working on this a little bit, but the leading idea is a mechanism pretty similar to the Plutus Vault system, where you will put in your underlying asset on one side, and it'll constantly accrue, like the exchange rate versus like a derivative that will give you will constantly increase in exchange rate, and that derivative is what you'll use as collateral in the Lodestar market. So while you're holding this derivative, it's always going up in price or in exchange rate relative to the underlying asset. And then when you exit the position, you're going to close out with whatever your underlying is plus accrued interest at that time. I think if that was a little confusing, if you read Plutus's documentation on their vault, that it's very similar to the architecture that we're considering.
Sounds amazing. So that would be for the V0, or would it be implemented for the V1?
So that would be a V1 feature. So that'll be the mechanism by which we are able to insert liquid staked assets into the protocol. So using PLV GLP as the example again, the reason why we're able to offer that in V0 is because Plutus has already done the heavy lifting of implementing a vault for it. That makes it really easy for us to work with it.
Sounds amazing. Any timeline for the V0 and the V1 for our friends listening at the moment?
Yeah, so V0, the original plan was to launch with the return of Arbitrum Odyssey. I think at this point we are thinking that Odyssey is further away than we originally thought it would be. I think we were all sort of expecting after Nitro that it would come back within a month or two, and so far we've heard nothing from the Arbitrum team. So I don't think we're going to wait for Odyssey anymore unless we get an announcement very soon. There's just a few things left really before we're going to be ready to launch on mainnet. The main thing really is the fundraiser and cleaning up repos and just kind of putting everything organized neatly, and we're pretty much ready to go. So I would anticipate that for V0, a couple weeks after we complete the fundraiser is probably a realistic timeline for the launch. We will obviously release a launch date when we finally settle on one.
Sounds good. So you were talking about the fundraise. Recently, we've done a communication regarding the fundraise that we initiated and we closed a few days ago. We've decided to cancel it and to refund everyone that participated. Konta, would you like to give some details on what happened, what our friends can expect, the ones who participated, and the community, and how are we going to go from now?
Yep. First of all, I would like to just apologize on behalf of the team. I think we were underprepared going into the fundraiser. I think, we were totally blown away by the support from the community, to be honest. I think we didn't really realize, the level of growth that we've had and interest that we had in the protocol. So when we launched the original fundraising pool, we set a period of about 2 weeks for it to complete, and we anticipated having to, market ourselves throughout that 2 week period in order to raise our goal. Well, it turns out that it took about 2 hours or maybe three, and 90% of the sale was purchased by a single person. And, that was definitely not our intention. And so after careful consideration, we decided that we would have to cancel the round out of good faith to our community. We just couldn't proceed. So what we'll do instead now is we're going to wait for the first pool to expire, because we do have people who invested in the first round who are basically trapped in that pool until it expires. So when the pool expires, which is pegged for October 20th, anybody who has money in the alien pool right now will be able to withdraw it on October 20th. So we will launch a round two after that. Round two requires you to whitelist yourself. So we have a Google form circulating. You can check the Discord announcements from yesterday if you haven't signed up for it yet. So basically what it works is you'll fill out the Google form, you'll write your Discord name, your wallet that you would like to whitelist, and then the amount that you're interested in giving. This is going to help us to make sure that there's not, the same person registering multiple wallets. We'll go back and check through Discord names to make sure that it's not being civiled. And we feel that this would be a more equitable way to, include everybody, let everybody sign up ahead of time. We're going to schedule a start time to the pool this time ahead of time. That way everybody knows when it's going to occur. And, everybody will have a fair opportunity this time. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to get in, because I can tell you right now, the interest that we've received so far in the forum is far greater than $150,000, but everybody's going to have a fair opportunity. And then as for the people who already got in to round one, I do have an idea of how we're going to take care of you guys, because I think it's very important that we don't screw you over. So my current plan for that is we know basically proportionally, how much of the tokens you guys purchased from round one. So what we could do is we could actually start two different alien pools. And one of the pools could be whitelisted specifically for people who are in round one. This guarantees that you're in again. And, collectively, all of the people who are stuck in round one account for less than 1% of the token sale. So it wouldn't be too much of a problem, I think, to just have a separate sale for those people. And the people who have not had an opportunity yet, they would still be vying for, well over 9% of the supply. I'm not, committing necessarily to that strategy yet, but I think that seems like the easiest way to give the people who are already in round one a secured allocation, and also give everybody else who didn't have the opportunity a fair opportunity.
Sounds good. Definitely, this first fundraise was such a surprise. I remember I'm based in Europe, and Quant, I remember you posted the fundraise, and I woke up, went for a shower, took a coffee, and I was like, okay, I still have time to go check what's happening. And just came back in front of my computer, all of a sudden, all of was sold out. So it was a big surprise, and it was a good surprise, because we do appreciate how the community was highly engaged and motivated to support us in this money market endeavor. So thanks again to the community, and like you said, we will do our best to make everyone happy. So yeah, let's wait for the 20 October for this first pool of the first round to be unlocked. people who are interested in this public raise, join the Discord. In the announcement channel, there is a Google Sheet. Please input your Discord account, your wallet address, and the amount you would like to commit to the public raise, and we will make sure that everyone can be satisfied. After all, this talk about the fundraise, it was obviously about a token, LODE token. What can you expect from this token, Quanta? When can it be released? What's the vesting schedule? And what mechanics can we expect? Is it going to be XLOD, stacked log, VLOD? Tell us more about the token.
So I can talk about the mechanics and the value proposition of the LODE token. As far as when everything will happen, I'll let the devs answer that question. So for mechanics, the LODE token has two main components to it. So the first component is going to be just traditional governance rights. We will institute a framework for governance that's similar in fashion to what Compound does. So the types of things governance will govern, for lack of a better word, will be stuff like adding new products, directing emission incentives. So we'll emit LODE tokens through the protocol as subsidies for various markets, and where those subsidies go will be another item that falls under the governance umbrella. Treasury management would be another. So that kind of wraps up that part of the token. A little bit, maybe for most people, the less interesting part of the token. The more interesting, in my opinion, part of it will be the staking mechanics. So, in line with the Arbitrum real yield culture here, we intend to make LODE a real yield token as well. So the way that will work is we will charge a fee on interest accrued as well as emissions generated for liquid staked assets that are deposited into the protocol. So what this looks like, if you can reference our docs in regards to how the mechanics of the reserves work, but essentially, when you pay interest on debt in the protocol, there's a percentage of that interest you pay that is permanently held within the protocol, and over time that builds up as excess liquidity. And it just sort of gives a cushion to the market so that there's always more money in the market than there actually has been, people deposited money into it. And if you let that grow for a few years, it ends up being a decent amount of liquidity to cushion in crazy volatile market conditions. So the money that goes into the reserves, we'll take a percentage of that. Right now we have it pegged as 50%. And that will go directly to LODE stakers. In addition, the liquid staking assets that are generating emissions may be not even the right word here because, for example, like POVGOP is not really generating emissions. It's earning real yield itself. But anyway, we would charge a fee of 10% on all of that type of yield that's being generated within the platform. And that would also be directed to LODE stakers. So basically, as a LODE staker, you're essentially getting a revenue share of any time a transaction or a fee is paid within Lodestar. You're going to get a piece of that as a LODE staker. And then as far as like token release schedule and whatnot, I would pass that question to Coops or Apo here.
Yeah, thanks, Quanta, for covering that. And Apo, feel free to jump in whenever here. Yeah, as far as timeline goes, we're actively in this fundraising period. Because we're going to have to relaunch the pool, things did get pushed a little bit. But our main focus from the development side is going all in on the token once the pool fills up. We will have that temporary VLODE token, most likely, that we've been talking about, and that'll be kind of like a representation of the actual LODE token you're going to get. And there's a number of reasons we're kind of having to do that, the biggest of which is we're raising on mainnet Ethereum, but the actual LODE token proper will be on Arbitrum, obviously. So there's a little bit of technical complexity there. We've been mulling around a few ideas, but kind of one of our strongest ones right now is this whole VLODE approach that you would then exchange proportionally for the actual LODE token on Arbitrum. And timeline-wise, I'd say for the V0 implementation of the token, which is just the emissions and governance aspect that Quantum was talking about, not the staking yet, we're roughly targeting, I'd say, a couple weeks to probably a month plus after the pool closes. We'll be actively working on it that whole time, and the timeline may shift or come even faster, but that's kind of roughly what we're targeting right now. And yeah, once we push that V0 out, we're going to be diving in right away to getting the V1 working too, which is, you know, the staking and emissions flow that Quanta touched on. I'd also say we're a compound fork at the core, so a lot of this code has been battle tested. And if any of you have used Compound, you know they have kind of a governance protocol built into their protocol. So we'll be leveraging as much, if not all, of the code that we can, so that it's a very seamless experience, just like Compound. So there will be a separate page on our website that you can kind of go, and it'll be a governance related page, and you'll be able to see the proposals, create proposals, and actually vote on them there. And I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that, Appo.
No, I think that pretty much sums it up as far as the timeline and intentions, at least for V0, are concerned. You know, it gets a little bit more hairy when we're talking about V1 and sort of the design and implementation of what we're trying to do there, just because it's still very much under development. So I think we could probably save that for another AMA. But yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up, especially for the near future.
Sounds amazing. So to resume, we have a token that has that DAO governance power on the protocol. You have revenue sharing and probably much more, I believe, in the next steps of the development. Before going to the questions of the public, any partnership on its way? With which protocol are you the most exciting, guys, to work with? What are you the most looking forward to?
Yeah, I'll add one thing, Quanta, before you can jump in. Is I just wanted to mention we're going to be spinning this project out as a DAO with the token launch, most likely. So, you know, we're extremely centralized right now, and we realize that, and all of the decisions are being made as such. But the plan is to spin this into a DAO, and really, you know, that's where the whole governance, voting, et cetera, comes in. So I just wanted to make that razor clear, and then Quanta, you can jump in with the partnership stuff.
Yeah, so as far as, you know, who we've already sort of aligned ourselves with up until this point, we have a pretty good working relationship with both the Magic Dragon DAO team as well as the Plutus team. We've been in contact with both of those teams for a couple months now. You know, we're very committed to working together. There's a lot of value that our protocols bring to each other when we work together that individually our protocols can't do. So yeah, those are probably the two I'd say we're the most excited for. Plutus is just a machine of a protocol. Like, as long as they continue to make these liquid staking pools like they are, you know, our supply of future assets is nearly endless. You know, the sky's the limit. Really, we just need to get Chainlink support for as many of them as we can. We continue to expand. Some other protocols that we, you know, have our eyes on as far as looking to partner with would be the GMX team as well as the Dopex team. We've had like introductions, but there's no formal partnership there yet. But it's something we're definitely open to. I think we are going to see GMX get an Oracle for their tokens soon, now that they're listed on Binance. So it's pretty likely that we will expand and offer GMX very soon. As far as DopeX goes, there's a lot of products on the horizon for DopeX that we see value, cross value with Lodestar. So there's definitely some stuff there too. Specifically, the thing that I'm the most interested on the DopeX end is their stablecoin. I think that could possibly be a pretty interesting asset to include in Lodestar, as well as the SpareX team. Unfortunately, the SpareX token right now does not have Chainlink support, but it would certainly be a protocol that we would look to add support for and partner with their team as soon as it's really possible. The main gateway being adding Chainlink support.
That sounds amazing. So yeah, definitely trying to orient the money market as being native to Arbitrum and accepting all the native tokens, especially the native yield-bearing tokens of Arbitrum. So all this sounds very exciting. You have a little bit a nice audience. So if anyone would like to jump in and speak up and ask questions to the team, please feel free. I think bottom right you can ask to speak up. And I'll get you on the stage.
We may have some in the meeting chat as well, Waffle.
Yes, that's what I was reading at. I'm reading the questions. Leo Wolfie, who's present here, is asking if the previous pool participants will be given the priority in the next round. Will they have the head start, or is it just public caped?
So the people who are in round one have our commitment that we're going to figure this out one way or another. We do not have a set in stone plan as far as how we're going to do it yet. I did mention a little bit earlier my leading theory there, which would be to run two ALIN pools where one of them is capped to about, I have to do the math again, but it's like 0.8% of the token supply or something that was spoken for in round one. We could do a second ALIN pool where only the wallets who were in round one would be whitelisted for it, and the cap there would just be, the 0.8% of tokens. And then we would have another pool where it would be, 9 and change, where, the current whitelist that we're circulating, where most people would participate. Anybody who was not part of the first round would be able to participate through that. Don't hold me to that just yet. There may be another architecture that works better, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. And it wouldn't be too much of a danger for the fundraise if we do that. Just giving a priority to all those that were with us since the beginning. I have a question here. So
looks like we have Quadlo requesting to the stage.
Yep. Hey, Quadlo. Yes, Quadlo, you have the mic is yours.
Make sure you unmute, Quadlo. We can't hear you.
Hey, sorry about that.
No problem.
I couldn't get off mute. Hey, any alpha to be dropped about that 7% that's unallocated right now?
Yeah, we can maybe drop a little alpha. I don't want to spoil anything just yet. But there's some plans in the works for some rewards for some various activities in the community, and that's what we have earmarked right now for that.
Sweet. Thank you.
I see a question from Rob K in our meeting chat. What are the details for the vesting schedule, daily, weekly, monthly vesting, claimed or airdropped? We're not going to do an airdrop for the vesting. I do know that. As far as the explicit schedule is concerned, we're either going to go with, a linear vest where you can, the tokens accrue steadily over time and you can claim them, whenever you want, or, a short vesting epoch, probably something either daily or weekly or something like that. I think we don't really want to have long breaks like a monthly or quarterly vesting schedule. And then another question from Crypto Bingo. Is the testnet phase going to be incentivized, rewarded somehow? And I know that, that this might be a little bit on the alpha side as well, but, we are going to be on the lookout for, meaningful feedback that we get on the testnet. Like, obviously we want everyone to be involved and we want everyone to use the app and get acquainted with it and let us know what, if anything, we could change or do differently. And, like going on there and saying, it works great. It's fantastic to know, but at the end of the day, we're looking for the, the real feedback of, what, might be wrong, what are improvements to make, what can we do differently, and what do people like, what do people not like, stuff like that. And then I know Anonymfam posted, I think, 6 questions, so we can probably take those as well.
Yes, I had included them in the questions during the when we were discussing. But yes, tokens have a benefit usage. Yes, I think we answered most of the questions he was asking. Floor is still open if anyone wants to ask any questions to the team. Let's give it 5 minutes and maybe we can then wrap it up for the first one. And we'll try, of course, to have other AMAs maybe in a bi-monthly period every two weeks, and depending also on the release of the protocol.
Hey guys, I got one more actually.
Sure.
For the ALIN pools, right? So like, say it's the 31st and all, token doesn't launch for another month or something. Will we have a month or 8%, if you will, of the vesting that will then unlock on day one?
It's a good question. I think the current plan is that it won't. That the vesting period will begin when the token officially launches. That's something that we could discuss. A discussion between the team and the community if it makes sense to do that. At face value, I'm not necessarily opposed to doing that, but I'm not prepared to commit to that at this time either.
Yeah, you just get that initial dump, right? At token generation, right? So you gotta watch that.
Yeah, and this is a roadmap. For both the protocol and the token, this is a roadmap, right? When we launch V0, it's like I said before, it's only what you see on testnet right now. So we will be rolling out all these features as we go. So on day one for the token, really, the only use case on day one is the governance rights. So we will, launch fee 0. Then shortly after will come the token and governance. And shortly after that, as we come into the V1 of the protocol, we will release the token staking as well as the liquid staking assets, right? Because the liquid staking assets are going to be one of the main revenue drivers, to token rewards. That's where the vast majority of the real yield for the LODE token is going to come from. So until we really have the liquid staking stuff, integrated into the protocol, there's not much reason for us to include the staking just yet. So we don't want to necessarily flood the market with tokens while we're still in development. You know what I mean?
For sure.
To answer to Gia's questions on the meeting chat regarding first pool and a second pool raise, what we will do is once we have gathered all the interest from our community on our Google Sheet, we'll create a group on Discord, and then we will discuss on the outcome. How do we want to approach this fundraise? Do we still cap it to 250K, or would we want it to expand it a little bit? But for now, we believe it's still too early to make a decision on that.
Yeah, I mean, just for transparency purposes, I mean, because we value transparency and we want to speak very candidly with the community, and so that they always know what's going on. Our plan is the same plan. If I look at the Google Sheet right now, there's been over $1 million in interest pledged to the fundraiser. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's actually $1 million worth of interest, and there's only $150,000 worth of space, not everybody is going to make it. We can have a conversation between the team and the community about what is the best way forward. Like, is that just sticking with the plan? Is that the best thing? But we're going to wait a little bit on that. We've got 10, 12 days before we have to think about opening the second pool. As far as the current plans are exactly what we've told you they are. But we'll probably take everybody who's put their Discord name into a private channel in Discord, for prospective investors, and we can have a further conversation there. And maybe maybe the community would prefer something different, and we're open to their feedback. But I would plan on just expecting it to be the original plan: 10% of the tokens, 150K cap, and until you hear otherwise, that's what we're doing.
Sounds good. So best, I imagine, for people listening, the best way now would be just to register on the Google Sheet if you're interested, and then we'll add you to that to Discord chat, and then we'll discuss on the outcome. If anyone has another question to the team, please feel free to ask to come on stage. We'll wait 2-3 minutes, and if no other question, I think we can wrap it up, unless the boys have other things to say or anything to add.
No, thank you all so much for joining. We really appreciate the turnout on our first AMA.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys taking the time to, join the chat and listen to us here for the last 45 minutes or so. And we look forward to having more of these and getting, continuing to, have a dialogue with the community and getting feedback and sharing with you guys what our intentions are and what we're doing.
Definitely a very good attendance on this first AMA. Thank you, everyone, for coming on this first AMA with Lodestar Finance. We will try to keep them on a regular basis. Feel free to join our Discord. The team is always available to answer your questions. Quanta, one last word?
Yeah, just on behalf of the team, the support we've gotten in the last few days is, it's truly something special. I think we've got a great community. I think we have a great team, and I think we've got a great protocol. And it's going to take an effort from everyone, including our community. But we really have an opportunity to build something special here at Arbitrum and cement Lodestar as the go-to money market for every Arbitrum maxi. And I invite you guys to come on this journey with us. And thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you very soon. Talk to you later.
Enjoy your day. See you later.
Take it easy, everyone. Talk soon.